Shout out to G-Man Boxing. Where's the piss bottle? It's over there.
Alright people, Fury Whyte this weekend, and I'm probably going to give my pick, do a full breakdown, give a prediction on Wednesday more than likely. But before I do that, I want to talk through some key points and mistakes both guys make in the ring. Now, I'm doing this video, this is on 3 reasons why Tyson Fury beats Dillian Whyte, so I'm talking about a few of Dillian Whyte's flaws, more so when he's fighting a taller opponent. I went back and looked at the VAC fight. Now the VAC fight, I'm not going to use that one as a gospel, because I know there was a lot of things to consider in that fight. Dillian Whyte took it on short notice. He was grossly out of shape. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen him look as bad aesthetically. So he was never going to look particularly good against Marius Wach. So the most recent opponent he's faced in the last couple of years, who is of similar dimensions to Tyson Fury, obviously this guy doesn't switch it, is Robert Helenius. And not just this specific fight, you also have to look at other fights Dillian Whyte's been involved with against guys who aren't similar dimensions, guys like Joseph Parker. And you'll see a few of the flaws in Dillian Whyte's game. I've taken 3 specific flaws. Specifically, I've looked at the Robert Helenius fight. So I'm going to show snippets on screen. I'm also going to look at them here, so I'm going to be able to talk through myself to make sure I have the sound down. And what I've done is I've also slowed some of these clips down as well. So we're going to watch the first clip at full speed. I'm going to talk you through a few little things, what's going on. I'm going to slow it down and talk about a few of the things that I noticed Dillian Whyte doing, weaknesses that I see in Dillian Whyte, and things that I just think if he was in there with Tyson Fury, he would exploit. Now, having said that, right, this doesn't mean this is what's going to happen in the fight itself. You know, this is Dillian Whyte from a few years ago. I would imagine, judging by the sparring he's had, he'll probably have improved on some of them. But if there is an element of these in Dillian Whyte's game still, Tyson Fury may be able to exploit it. Before I start talking about it, I really had hoped to get... I talked about it on Sunday about having something ready to go out. It was a documentary on Fury Whyte. A few issues with copyright. Just one clip. Just one real clip, that was the issue. Obviously didn't go live, so it wasn't a strike on it. Like, that's just a claim, which is not too bad. Give us a bit of time. We're trying to fix this. Me and Dan, the guy who does my editing, we're trying to get around that. So, and I watched it. Funny enough, I watched it before we were going to make it live, and it looked so damn good, which is why I was so annoyed. But we will get to that. We will get that up some stage this week. It's just a case of sorting a few things out, and we should be good to go with that. Now, I'm going to talk about this, right? So, have a look real quickly there on screen. This is from the Helenius fight. This is in the first round. Now, if you see Dillian Whyte there, first off, you see him using his jab, right? So, Dillian Whyte using the jab on Robert Helenius to good effect. He has a very good jab, and Robert Helenius was struggling with that. But have a look here, just what Robert Helenius does right there. You'll see it there on screen. I'm going to slow it down, right? Dillian Whyte is off balance there. So you see, he's got his left hand down low. Robert Helenius sees an opening, sees a gap, and he throws a jab to Dillian Whyte's body. And look, Dillian Whyte's swinging at the same time. But look how off balance, and look how Dillian Whyte goes back a bit from that jab, right? Why is that? It's because Dillian Whyte's balance, his footwork is never particularly good. It's not one of Dillian Whyte's strongest suits, is his footwork. His footwork is a bit kind of all over the place. So Dillian Whyte, he can routinely find himself in positions where he's off balance. If he's off balance, right, I'll give you an example, right? You'll see a lot of fighters lead with jabs to the body, all right? It's not uncommon for a fighter, if they're in a situation like that, if they're maybe looking, trying to maybe, dummy their opponent with a feint, they maybe look to go to the head, go to the body. But it's very rare you see a fighter kind of, even if they're getting ready to punch, it's very rare you see a fighter kind of twist a bit because it's put them so off balance. Now, Helenius is a very heavy-handed fighter, I will admit to that. But nevertheless, I do find Dillian Whyte's balance, especially in this fight, and we've seen it in other fights, very poor. He often at times, right, Dillian Whyte in fights, even if the shot hasn't necessarily hurt him, because his balance and his footwork is so poor at times, he can often make a shot seem like it's had more of an impact than it actually has. We saw that several times in the first Chisora fight. Dillian Whyte's balance in that fight was so off. The way he comes in with his footwork can be so crude at times that when he gets hit with shots, I don't want to say he's magnifying the impact of the shot necessarily, because I don't think he is, but he's making the shot seem a lot more devastating and impactful than it actually is. Now, the shot mightn't necessarily hurt him per se, it might not buzz him and put him on unsteady legs, but because he's so off balance that it's like, imagine you're stood square, imagine your feet are planted to the floor and someone just tries to push you in the chest. You're not going to go anywhere. Now imagine you're standing, this is a very flimsy analogy, but just hear me out. Imagine you're standing almost on one foot and someone pushes you. You're gonna stumble a bit. Now he's hit you with the same amount of velocity, but anyone would swear he's hit you harder the second time because your balance isn't quite there. And that to me is something similar to what Dillian Whyte does. Alright? So we'll carry on with this now. Let's have a look here on screen for the next clip, right? Dillian Whyte, hand down low, which is good, but misjudges the distance. Walks into a jab from Millennius, and look what he tries to do. He tries to attack, but he's just born in with shots, right? Again, look at the left hand down low, which is good because it means that his opponent's looking down, but he's in too close, no feints, no head movement, smack, jab in the face. Now Dillian Whyte looks to get set to attack. So I'm going to attack Millennius, I'm going to set up with the jab. No, I'm going to swing and miss and give Robert Helenius just dodged them shots. If that was Fury, who's a lot more savvy when it comes to counterpunching, he's a lot better fighter, he is going to happily take a step to the side. He's going to look to throw an uppercut or look to throw a right hand on Dillian Whyte. And Dillian Whyte, a few times in that fight, found himself in positions where he bored in with shots. Right, his timing was off, his judge's distance was off. He just decided, right, hell for leather, bore in with a shot. And Robert Helenius ended up getting away from it. And Helenius was in defensive mode in that fight. He wasn't really looking to win it. Right, Tyson Fury, even a Tyson Fury who is, we'll say, high 260s, low 270s, probably still has, well, he does. He's just a better fighter. Robert Helenius is as slow as anything. He would be faster than Helenius. He would be able to move and get out of dodge better than Helenius, and he would look to counter with shots. There was times, if you look back at the Vladimir Klitschko fight, where Klitschko would lose himself in the ring. Klitschko would it was very sloppy actually at times. He would leave with a left hook, Klitschko, and he would miss with Fury, and he'd almost be like, oh, where the hell is he? I thought he'd be here, but he's over there. And Fury at that time was able to say, I'm here, boom. Now, note that there was not much in them shots, but they're telling shots. If you're Dillian Whyte, you don't want to be taking them. The things I think Dillian Whyte needs to look at, obviously his footwork and balance, definitely, right? And these are just observations. Footwork and balance, definitely. His judge of distance, his head movement, and his feint. And I'm going to put that all into one category and just say, just generic ring IQ, right? I'm just going to call it that. So his ring IQ is one thing, especially when he's fighting a taller opponent, he's going to need to work on. And as well as that, it's going to be his balance. All right? So ring IQ, balance. All right, let's have a look at this last clip. This is a very interesting clip, right? So Dillian Whyte, no real regard for defense there, and you can see he stumbles a bit. Let's have a look, see at that again in slow motion. So he's looking to get in on lens. This is when he was buzzed slightly. No regard for defense, hands down, bores in with a shot, ends up getting stunned a bit. He's backed up again, the rope's there, and Robert Helenius, that was his best round in that whole fight. So Dillian Whyte's three main things that he's going to need to work on, and these are three reasons why I think Tyson Fury can beat Dillian Whyte. There's three reasons why I think Dillian Whyte can beat Tyson Fury as well. Make no mistake about that, and I will touch on that in a separate video, probably come out tomorrow. Poor balance, poor footwork, lap that into one. His ring IQ, his judge of distance can be at times hit and miss, alright? And then lastly his defense. The way he just bores in with shots when he's fighting the taller guy. He's done that a few times where he can set it up with the jab, and he did do that at certain points in the Helenius fight. But at certain other points, he was just thinking, knockout, let's go, red mist, swing, and Helenius, oh hey, bang. Now again, if that is Tyson Fury, what do you think is going to happen? Helenius definitely has the advantage in terms of power. That, I've no doubt, he's one of the best punchers in the heavyweight division. But Tyson Fury has so many more tools at his arsenal. It's not just punching power. I mean, Fury is accurate, right? He's faster. He has power when he wants to. When he wants to sit down on the shots, he can. And if he sees someone like Dillian Whyte, who's coming in, bit off balance, bit reckless, and not judging his distance well, man, he's going to have a field day. He's going to have an absolute field day with Tyson Fury. So, there are my three reasons why I think Tyson Fury beats Dillian Whyte. Poor footwork, poor ring IQ, and slacky defense, or leaky defense I should say. Now my 3 reasons from those clips I just showed you there. Now, there are 3 reasons why I think Dillian Whyte can beat Tyson Fury. I'm not giving my pick in this video. That pick is going to wait until Wednesday, where I'm going to just talk about what I think both guys needs to do to win. But I think having seen some of them clips, for Fury, he's going to want to be jabbing Dillian Whyte's body. I think that's going to be a mistake if he doesn't. He's making a critical mistake if he doesn't jab Dillian Whyte's body. Seeing the way Helenius was able to get him off balance by jabs to the body there. Because see, when you're jabbing someone to the body like that and they're off balance like that, it's unlikely that even if they're leading with it, or even if they're trying to throw a shot in retaliation, it's going to land, because they're so off balance. Because they're swinging from back there, they're probably not going to hit you. The trajectory of the punch is going to go way past you. So there are 3 things talked about in this video. Let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed it. Got one for Fury coming tomorrow, which I will do at some point tomorrow. Just give me a bit of time. I spent most of my day looking through Dillian Whyte's old fights, so I got to do it for Tyson Fury and find little things that I think Dillian Whyte could exploit in them. Leave in the comment section below. Hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully I will have a documentary for you tomorrow. Hopefully we're working on a few things. We're trying to re-upload it. We're going to do a little dummy run on one of our other channels. And if that doesn't get copyrighted, then we're good to go. If that doesn't get copyrighted, we're good to go. So fingers crossed it doesn't. Fingers crossed it doesn't. Please, Sky Sports, don't mess with me. Please. It took about 14 hours altogether between the audio, between Dan editing and everything we've combined. It took us about 14 hours. Please don't make us waste those 14 hours. Hope you enjoyed it, people. I'll talk to you.